Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of my Bluetooth journey where I do a whole bunch of mic comparisons connected to a few different Bluetooth adapters. Without further ado, let's just jump into the comparisons, shall we?
This is the AirPods Pro connected to the Asus BT500. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak.
This is the AirPods Pro connected to the BTD 800. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak.
This is the AirPods Pro, about a couple inches away from my mouth, connected to the Asus BT500. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak.
This is the AirPods Pro connected to the BTD 800, a couple inches from my mouth. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak.
This is the TaoTronics Sound Liberty 79 connected to the Asus BT500. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak. This is the TaoTronics Sound Liberty 79 connected to the Asus BT500, just a couple inches from my mouth. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak. This is the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros connected to the Asus BT500. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak. This is the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros connected to the Asus BT500. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak. This is the Anker SoundBuds Life connected to the Asus BT500. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak. This is the Sennheiser HD1 connected to the Asus BT500. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak. This is the Logitech G35 wired directly into my computer. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak. This is the Sennheiser GSP 370 connected to its own little Bluetooth proprietary adapter. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak. This is the Blue Yeti, which is sitting just out of frame on a nice little cloth to try to dampen vibrations. The gain knob on this guy is set to about 1/3. You're going to hear everything, including the wall behind me, and any noise my pets decide to make. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak. And now for the unfair advantage test. This is the Sennheiser E935 connected to the Scarlett Solo. Amidst the mists and coldest frost, with barest wrists and stoutest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the post and still insists he sees the ghost. Donovan's Brain, written in 1942 by Kurt Siodmak. All right, that was a lot of different recordings, man. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If that's what you came here for, have a good one. See you later. But if you want to learn a little bit more about the devices that I have and the things that I use to connect up all the different microphones that I use, here's a screenshot basically giving you some more information. You can see here all the different devices that I use to connect, all the different headphones that I use. Everything in green is everything that you saw. The things in yellow are the things that I recorded, but I didn't actually post up here because they sounded exactly the same, so there's no point in actually giving you, same information twice. You also have the hertz in this, so you can see exactly what each one of these are, so you can have a better point of reference to part 1 of this video. Now, if that image has satiated your thirst for knowledge, then feel free to bow out now. But I want to give a little bit more information about all the different devices that I used here. First, notably, I want to talk about the TaoTronics. They sounded pretty good. For $50, I definitely recommend these guys. They're not the most comfortable. I have worn them enough that I don't really feel them in my ear anymore, but that could be due to the fact that, I don't know, my ear is either numb or the rubber tips on these are nicer and worn down. Can't really say why they're more comfortable now, but for $50, you can't go wrong. Next, I want to talk about the actual Bluetooth adapters I was using. Now, this is the Asus BT500 and this is the Asus BT400. I definitely recommend the 500 over the 400, not just because this guy is Bluetooth 5, but because I was having some audio syncing issues with the BT400, most notably with the TaoTronics as well as the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pros. Now, the issue is a lot less problematic with the Soundcore Pros, but the TaoTronics, what would happen is that the audio would desync from each other. Each earbud would desync from each other. So you'd have one that's playing the same music just behind or ahead of the other one. And it was a terrible, terrible experience. And the only way to actually fix it is to take the headphones off, put them back in here, let them desync from your device, and then put them back in your ear. That was a terrible experience. The Soundcore Pros, these guys are actually, they're smart enough to know that they have desynced from each other. So the only experience you're going to have is maybe a 1 second complete silence. You hear a small blip of the audio desyncing from each other, and then they go silent for about 1 second, and then they resync back up, and you don't have to worry about putting these things back in the case. All of these issues are gone with the BT500. So definitely recommend that one. Next, I definitely want to talk about one weird thing I was doing, and that's how I kept putting the true wireless earbuds right next to my mouth. I did with all 3 true wireless earbuds that I have, and I wanted to point something out. The fact that these things are true wireless, they're designed to go right here, does affect mic quality. The mic being directly next to your mouth. Yes, these guys are not designed to do that, so they sound a little more blown out, but they do sound more clear, which is part of the reason I even brought these 2 into the fold at all. I mean, yes, this one's got a cable and this one's wireless, so this one could technically fit directly in the Bluetooth category, but the fact that these microphones are directly next to your mouth makes a big difference. Now, these guys would be what I would consider to be the complete winner of all of the microphones I did. Winner, it's just whatever. I mean, this guy is actually designed to use its own proprietary Bluetooth adapter, which can only be plugged into USB. So you can only use this guy on a computer. You can't use it on your phone. So that's why it's like the winner. But if you're working from home, you got your laptop, plug this guy in, you have a nice little conversation with your boss, you sound completely clear, everything is Gucci. I definitely recommend these guys. Got them for $170, which is definitely cheaper than the best sounding combination of the AirPods, as well as a Bluetooth audio only Bluetooth adapter. Now, for the AirPods, I got these guys for $200. Spend $90 on the EPOS BTD 800s, and for $300, not worth it. Definitely not worth it. I would say use the AirPods with your phone alone, and if you're going to your computer, go ahead and get the Sennheisers. That's going to be the best combination that I would personally recommend that would impress everybody. These guys sound great on your phones, but not on the computer. With that said, I do have 2 audio-only Bluetooth adapters. This guy is made by Jabra. This is the Link 380A. And of course, like I said, BTD 800. I do not recommend the Jabras. And I'll explain a little bit more in a second. But this guy, I had so much issues keeping things synced up to this. If I linked something up to this, if I connected everything up to this, first off, you need the software to do any of the linking, which sucks. You don't need software for the EPOS BTD 800s. You need software on your computer to link these guys up. Once they're linked up, you're supposed to be able to just unplug this from whatever machine you're using, go to another machine, plug it in, everything's supposed to link up. However, 9 times out of 10, I could not get them to reconnect after the first time. It was a giant pain, and I just didn't even bother recording with this. As you can see from the image I displayed earlier, I'll go ahead and display that again right now. You can see on the image here that the Jabra and the BTD 800s are exactly the same in terms of kilohertz. So there's no point. Like, why would I'm not going to bother recording with this guy again. Last little note, and I just honestly want to point this out. I am going to dig at Jabra a little bit here. This is the packaging that the Jabra came in. All right, take a look at this. The Jabra was just sitting in this, and this was in one of those, like, another plastic envelope that you would expect to get in paper. Like one of the plastic envelopes that you would get from Amazon. Like, it's just something designed for small things. But compare this to the EPOS BTD 800. This is what it came in. Now, it was floating in the air right here in this little hole. It was floating here. You would have to destroy this box to do any damage to the BTD 800. And also, the Asus BT500 came in this nice little box. It's going to be too hard to show you on camera. Just realize this little window right here is where the adapter actually was. And this little plastic is floating in midair. The adapter was floating in midair. You would have to destroy this box to do anything to the Asus BT500 or the BTD 800. In comparison to Jabra, I mean, you can just sneeze on this and it's going to break. I mean, come on. Jabra, are you really trying to save a couple bucks with this? I mean, it shows. I couldn't really get the Jabra to connect reliably to any Bluetooth device I have. So you can literally see the corners being cut. So, yeah, Jabra, step it up, man. Stop trying to save pennies on people. Like, I'm never going to buy anything Jabra again, to be honest with you. I had a couple of Jabra devices before. It actually sounded pretty good, just audio-wise. I never really cared for the mic back then. But I think I'm not going to bother with them anymore. I'm going to return this as soon as this video is done, which I am done right now. I'm going to return this thing as soon as I get the chance. But I am done, people. I had a fun as hell time making this video. Both these, part 1 and part 2, was fun as heck. I hope you guys learned a lot. Hope you enjoyed the mic comparison. If you have any comments, thoughts, anything I should do in the future, let me know down below. It was a fun time. Bluetooth journey is now over. I am just going to go ahead and stick with my Sennheiser 370 and I'll use my AirPods for my phone, but only for my phone. You guys have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everyone. Peace.